for this season and move on to the Mid Season Invitational. What a great story that would be. I'd love to see their success sort of cascade into the international scene. As we see, though, we're getting into the bans. DFM again going for the Tom Kench, likely going to ban out the Syndra as well. There it is. Do not ever want to see those out of Rampage. Are
Absolutely.
not interested in playing with those champions.
Yeah, and it's something that's really interesting to see. That Tom Kench was very contested in Rampage versus Unsold Stuff, but here they just don't want to see it. And these are the same bands, the same first bands that they did in Game 1 and in Game 2. And it's you keep the comfort champions off of Evi, Ramune, and Dara, and to force them onto something else. Unfortunately, it hasn't panned out as well. But with Graves the first pick for Paz, this is something that he's been very successful at during the regular season. He played it. He hasn't played it in this matchup between between these two teams, but he has played it a fair number of times in the regular season, ending the season with a 6.5 KDA on that champion.
However, I mean, that does give up the power pick Lulu that we talked about that was so influential in that last game that will again be going over to RPG. Additionally, they also pick up Lucian for Yutori Miyasi, another strong champion for him. And man, I don't know. I maybe would have liked to see DFM play a little bit riskier with their bans. Maybe ban out some of these champions that have shown up. Maybe let them Al-Zahar through for a game. Right now, I'm just worried for them. I don't know if this adaptation of adding Graves is going to be enough to swing that matchup in their favor.
Yeah, it's very true. And they also pick up the Nautilus as well. We did see this flex down to the support role last game. They could very easily go to Vivid. I really hope it goes over to Vivid because I want to see more carry potential coming out from Utapone. Perhaps a Rumble. Perhaps that Gragas who just does plenty of damage. The Camilla's already banned, but he's also played Rumble up against RPG before. And it wouldn't be the first time. He did decently well. He ended the game 1-2-1 in week 6, game 2. But it's hard to say that that was really his fault simply because of how far behind his team got. It was only a 27-minute game, meaning that Rampage just ran over Detonation Focus Me at that time. But we see 3 very, very comfortable champs coming in for Rampage.
Yeah, absolutely happy. Tussle must be head over heels happy to pick up that Elise, a champion that he's been playing all throughout the LJL, both this week and on Wednesday. Again, bans pretty standard. I mean, these teams, they have an idea of what they want these games to look like. They know what they want to ban. 0 bans change for RPG over the course of this entire, game 2 and going into game 3.
Yeah.
DFM.
And we'll probably see either an Oriana or an Ari ban. It is the Oriana ban, meaning we're likely going to see Ari picked up right here for Ramne, simply because he's starting to run out of champions he plays. Meanwhile, Saros on the other side hasn't really even dipped into his champion pool at all, but they are hovering over Talia, which he did play in the series against Unsold Stuff decently effectively, but it is not necessarily the strongest pick that he's had historically.
Yeah. I do like the idea of taking Talia away. Saros, he did see a lot of success in the early game for Detonation Focused Me in that last game. We saw a great Weaver's Wall into a 5-man ultimate at the beginning of the game, followed by First Blood, actually, over Ramune with that pick. So I definitely understand taking that away from them. Detonation Focused Me, what's going to be their answer? They're going to pick the Nami for the sustain and the poke in the bottom lane.
I would like to see a big carry champion coming out here. Saros has games on Ari, on Cassiopeia, on Ryze, Jace, Corki, Vladimir. Those are all available. He does pick up the Ari. And we saw the reverse of this matchup in our previous game between Ramune and Saros, except it was Ramune with the R, and he did very well, surprisingly very well. And it's interesting to me that they are opting to switch over to Talia there, but we are also seeing a very, very, very comfortable team comp coming up for Rampage. Poppy is one of Evi's most played champions. Tussle has played at least 6 times over the past 7 games that they played, including this one. Lulu, Dara has been doing fantastic on that. Ramune has been playing Tilly a lot, and we saw just how effective Yutori Mayashi is on that Lucian. So, if you're going to switch things up, I don't know why you then choose to give your opposing team basically all of their comfort picks.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Domination Focus Me can turn it around. I especially like the Poppy pick in the context of this game. You have two champions that have very strong dash abilities in both Graves and Ari on the opposing team. Being able to activate that steadfast presence, stop their ultimates, or stop the Ari ultimate from getting to your backline can absolutely be clutch in this game, and we'll have to see if Evie can pull that off at least once in a
Yeah.
team fight.
Yeah, and it is interesting to me that they do opt to give Nautilus over to Yuton in the top lane. He's had a decent series, but he has been in a situation where he can really necessarily carry for the team. And giving him a Nautilus is, you can carry by being tanky and just doing damage because you won't die. But he's also done that with other characters, most notably Gragas. His Gragas has been fantastic over the rest of the season. He ended up having an 11.0 KDA over 6 wins as Gragas. 11.0, 100% win rate over 6 games of the competitive scene. But he could also do it with, like, Sign. Sign has fallen out of the meta a little bit, but Gragas definitely hasn't. And opting to give him this Nautilus, which he has not seen that much success on, I'm not sold on it. I don't know if they won this champion select for the first time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how these teams match up. One thing that is going in Detonation Focus Me's favor is the fact that Rampage once again is stuck on a sort of a two-threat composition. Their major damage sources are Yutori's Lucian and Ramade's Talia. If they only have those two available, we do know that Tussle plays Elise. However, he plays a very tanky Elise. He likes to go Cinder Hulk into tank items. He appreciates being a support for the team, throwing out cocoons. So he's not as much as maybe that dive assassin mid-game carry that you would maybe see in Western teams. So if Detonation Focus Me makes it to an end game situation, I think that they have a decent shot of winning this game just because they have an extra carry on that Graves.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
will it be enough? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I think this is the first time Rampage has won the pick ban phase. But again, it doesn't matter how the pick ban phase goes if you can't back it up with your play. And we've seen Rampage back up. They've talked the talk and they've walked the walk. But now let's see if Detonation can block it.
Nice alliteration there, Josh. Like, dang, that was some quality wordplay.
I wish I
Right
could
there.
freestyle. Then I'd try and pull out something. Just, like, I can't do Hamilton improv, unfortunately. Not yet. Maybe someday. But we're going to be jumping right into game here in just a moment. We'll have to see exactly what they can do. Can these guys, the founding fathers of the LJL, can they continue?
Hey,
Can they
I'm sorry.
continue to maintain their rivalry, or will it just be Rampage finally taking the crown?
Let's find out as we get into game. Potentially,
Shut up, Jeremy.
match point between these two.
But yeah, this is very big. It's taking a little bit of time. I wonder if there's some technical difficulties going on as this is taking a long time to get into game, but I'm sure we want to make sure we see some good League of Legends. If someone doesn't load in, there's no point playing a 4v5 at the competitive level. You just lost one of your pieces. But we're going to be going in. Let's take another quick gander at how these teams have gotten here. Over the regular season, they've had a great time. Both teams are 8-2 on the match play over the season, and they are only separated by a single game. The three teams that were in the playoffs this time, we had Unsold Stuff, Rampage, and Detonation Focus Me. They all did a great job in the regular season. They all ended up going 8-2. Actually, they each beating each other one time. The difference being how stompy the games were. For instance, that's why Unsold Stuff and Rampage are below, because they ended up going 3-2 on the season in terms of games against Detonation Focus Me. So Detonation Focus Me does have the ability to play out against these teams in the long run. But going down 0-2, if this was regular season, they already would have lost the set.
Right. Yeah, and you have to think that there's an immense amount of pressure now. The winner of this game, the winner of the series, I should say, does advance to the Mid Season Invitational. a fantastic prize to play at the international stage. And, now you're down on the ropes. Can you pull it back? Can you have the mental fortitude to not slip up, to take your one shot, your
No,
opportunity?
this is bad. This is getting really bad. But yeah, the interesting thing, I want to talk a little bit about the Korean imports that this scene has as well, because both these teams have a couple of them. Shrimp originally, I believe, a Korean player. Paz, let me double check. I gotta double check my notes. Vivid and Dara are both Korean players. Shrimp was originally from Korea, and then I believe there is one more. It doesn't look like it, but there's plenty of Korean imports on these teams. Now, one of the things we talk about in the West a lot of times, English is a very international language, and so a lot of Korean players have some understanding of English, even if it's not the strongest going in. But when they move to Japan, it's a little bit different. Korean and Japanese actually share a lot more similarities than most people think they do. The grammar is very similar, as well as the vocabulary. So the biggest thing is just substitution of words going in, and so even if you don't necessarily understand, you can usually get a pretty good grasp of what's going on in the rest of the conversation as a team is communicating, making different shot calls, and moving around and just doing what it is a League of Legends team does. And so it's interesting to see how they're coming in, and both Vivid and Dara have been very successful imports for both of these teams.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because Detonation Focus had this very variable, I guess, roster over the course of the season, swapping characters in and out, swapping in and out players. They had Shrimp in for a while. It looks like Paz is here to stay for this entire series. They have Vivid as well on a Korean import, and typically, at least in the West, we've also had huge problems when teams have changed too much, too quickly with their team synergy and things like that. However, since Japanese and Korean are closer in linguistic similarities, it's easier perhaps to make that transition quickly and build team cohesion.
Yeah, completely. And it looks like we're starting to, even the Japanese casters are starting to get a little bit antsy as we're going. And let's take a look. Is there anything else we should be talking about in these games right now? Both of the compositions, they look very solid. I have to give it over to Rampage for this one. Let's see. What's the last time that we saw Poppy on either of these characters? Last time we saw these guys play, we did see Evie pick up Poppy in week 6. And it ended up being a grueling game, a 45-minute game, 21-14 in kills, ending the game 2-6-5, which is not really what you want to see from your Poppy, even though I'm sure he took tons of damage throughout the rest of the game. It's a very long time since he's last played that in this split, or in this matchup, and it'll be difficult to see exactly what they do. One of the interesting things, let's take a look about the way that characters have different KDAs between these two teams. And the last time, or the games that these guys have played during the regular season, they ended up having a very similar kill spread between the two teams. 73 Detonation to 70 kills for Rampage, and they only differ by 3 assists. 184 for Rampage and 187 for Detonation. Now they have very similar numbers of kills, very similar numbers of deaths and assists, but the way that they've been spreading it out has been very different. Right. Looks like we're getting into game, but real quick, we see that big KDAs coming out for Rampage on Yutori and Dara with 6.2 and 4.0 respectively, but the equivalent for Detonation has been 6.1 and 2.3 on Vivid. He has been unfortunately dying a lot when these two teams play against each other.
Right. Well, anyways, getting into Game 3 of Detonation Focus Me versus Rampage. Once again, I'm Zane Zenzen Nelson, joined by Josh Joshi Howard, and here we are bringing it to you live. Game 3 of the LJL Finals, possibly match point. Rampage up 2-0, looking to finish it off and earn their invite to the Mid Season Invitational up against this monstrous team.
Yeah, and it's been good. Unfortunately, we don't have another triple Reju bead coming out from Utapon, but I think he'll be happy with that Doran's ring. Yeah, welcome to Summoner's Rift. Summoner's Rift, yokoso. Here we go. They're gonna go in a lot of biscuits coming out. Man, I'm just excited that we can finally watch this League of Legends game start.
Right. Shoutouts to Star Guardian Poppy. What an absolutely beautiful skin. Uh,
All of the Star Guardian
Riot
skins.
Games stepping it up really with the skin game in the last couple of years.
Yeah, we see like right here, Earth Nami. What's our favorite skin? I think I did. It does have to go over to that Star Guardian Poppy in this game. SKT Elise is always a solid choice, but the Star Guardian skins are just so pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always partial to Project Lucian myself, but that's because I spend way too much money on League of Legends, and I need to justify my spending habits. So I really appreciate that skin. As we see, pretty standard starts for both teams. Does look like both junglers gonna start the Raptor camps to get that early level 2.
Uh-oh, look at the pings going down there. As Utapone looks into the top half, he does unknowingly walk over a ward. Oh, he's just going to get a little bit warded, but that's a little bit of the difference between starting on the top side of the map and the bottom side of the map. You know, the top laner, what exactly they do as the jungler takes their first camp, as they pick up level 2. Utapone didn't have anything to do, so I was like, oh, let's go get a ward. Make sure that Tussle does end up here right after he does his camp. And because of that, because of the vision he gains, Paz is going to skip his own buffs and go straight for Tussle's blue buff.
Yeah, I really like this adaptation actually from DFM. I mean, they already expected Tuzzles to be working in the top lane, and knowing that Evie was going to help, Paz now has to hurry really quickly though, because it looks like Tussle is gonna hit this blast cone. This could be dangerous.
Yeah, Paz is just going to get out, but that's good for them. They are going to be able to get a 3-buff start up on Tussle. And Elise really suffers from a lack of blue buff in the early game. She uses up a lot of mana, even though she uses a lot. But Daria's taken really low. A little bit more damage could kill him, but Utor is the most aggressive ADC in this league by a decent amount. He's not going to let his support die to that.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to point out with the Keystones, Dara actually opting, instead of taking Windseeker's Blasting, does go for that Thunderlords. So looking to aggressively punish this bottom lane rather than playing for the late game. Tussle now invading into this red side.
Paz doesn't see. He just sees that his red buff is gone. They don't necessarily see him quite yet. But he's got that spidey sense. He knows that there's a spider right there, and that's a double red buff going over to Tussle. Very bold, very smart play coming out of him. Able to pick up that second buff and prevent getting 3-buffed by the other team.
Yeah, and you saw, like, right before... wow, a lot of damage.
Yeah, it was.
Right before Tussle runs in to make that play, Ramune actually shoves up the mid lane so that Steros can't help defend the red buff with Paz. That's really crucial. Allows Tussle to stay alive and relevant in the early game jungle.
A lot of damage going on to Utori right now. Oops, just not going to end in a whole lot. But there they go, going very aggressive onto Vivid. Gets the bubble onto Utori. This could be very big, but he's just going to... Zeros is not in range to do anything beyond that, but a lot of movement speed. We're in a very volatile spot with both junglers on the top half of the map. It's just going to come down to bot lane skill right here.
Yeah, Nami, one of the few supports that can match blow for blow with Lulu because of Nami's E, giving her 80 carry just so much damage in addition to a slow on their auto attacks.
Yeah, it's almost like a miniature red buff, and we all know just how strong. There we go. Dara support with a 7.0 KDA and 74.2%. I'm assuming that's just over this one series, because he has been doing a fantastic job on both Lulu and the brand he played game 1.
Yeah. Steros going to go ahead and have to back a little bit too low mana to continue to push out against Ramune. Probably both can go back, pick up that last chapter, be pretty happy about that. Nothing too crazy going on in that lane.
Yeah, this is interesting to see how much Evie is stepping up against Utapone as compared to when he was playing yesterday. Or, not yesterday, in the last series that they played. He was very defensive previously, but he's he's just going in. He's just pressuring his opponent. And I wonder how much of that is just a playstyle thing, if it's a personal strength thing, or if it's just something that you just end up doing when you just play against your rivals.
Yeah. Paz, recognizing that a lot of Rampage had already backed, goes ahead and gets that early deep ward, does spot out Tussle, and will be rewarded with this Grump pretty easily for himself.
Star is not very happy about that. Yeah, he's going to deny that. Get a little bit of gold for himself. This could be dangerous, but there's nobody in a position to necessarily follow up. And Paz is going to have to limp away, potentially lose out a little bit as we start going forward. But here we go. Saros is level 6 and starting to move up towards the top half of the map. Probably just going in for some wards, but it could very easily turn into a dive on Evie if he's not careful.
Yeah. And talking about this matchup in the mid lane, or in the top lane, rather, Evie definitely has the advantage with the counter pick onto Nautilus. It's very difficult for Nautilus to really play aggressive because Evie can always just activate that W and walk away from any fight. However, Utapon building once again for the...
We're seeing a lot of action right now. Here comes the Weaver's Wall down below. They're going down. They get a lot of damage onto Vivid, and there goes the knockback. Not quite enough. He is able to flash out of it, but it's still a lot of damage. 2 flashes, 3 summoners blown all together, and that means they can just come back in a couple of minutes. And the Dragon already up. It's an Infernal. With Zerost and Vivid down right now in this huge wave about to hit the turret, they should be able to pick that up if they choose to do so.
Yeah. RPG, although they were unable to secure a kill, they are pretty happy about burning both bot lane flashes with a single ultimate. Definitely going to pay dividends for them in the future, especially since, you know, neither of these champions have escapes or dashes, really. So they're definitely weak to a gank. Like, even just a quick cocoon can secure an easy kill in the bottom lane.
Absolutely, and we are seeing that coming up right now as we start to see a little bit more pushing around. The top lane is more or less even, simply, you know, being matched Rome for Rome. Ramune, you know, that was a great Weaver's Wall, forcing out both the flashes, but he hasn't been landing his knockups too successfully. We've seen him miss several of them in the mid lane. But Art, there he goes. He hits the first one, and that's a huge amount of damage. Making me eat my words. I guess that's a caster's curse in League of Legends. But that kind of thing, that's what we need to see. Here comes Tussle coming up, trying to get onto Utapon. I don't know if he missed that, but there goes the knockup coming out from Evie. We're going to need to see if he's going to land the cocoon. The Depth Charge comes out, getting a lot of damage on the red buff. Slow is applied. Oh, beautiful block with that W coming out from Poppy, and that is going to be first blood going over to Tussle.
Yeah, and we talked about how strong Poppy's steadfast presence was going to be in this game. Coming up clutch there to secure a kill. First blood
calling out a Vittori. A lot of damage onto Vivid. And that's a Zero's heal coming out. There are no summoners left.
Zara, once again, they've done this in the first 2 games of the series as well. Pushing the wave and then immediately a level 6 pressuring the...
Paz is in a bad spot, and they see that he's there. They do see Sarah's going over tons of damage going down from Ramune. He's almost out of mana, though, but here comes the rest of Rampage trying to do something. They do blow up the blast cone, and that could very well have just saved Paz's life.
Yeah, people don't think about it much, but those plants can be really important. Here, let's watch that top lane fight again. Evie lands the ultimate, and look at this steadfast presence. It's so well timed. Just immediately blocks the kill and will secure the kill for RPG. And another thing to point out is that they did that. They executed that gank right when Rutapon, like immediately after he had used his teleport. So he was denied a significant amount of golden experience, having to walk all the way back up to his top lane.
True, and now look at the amount of the item lead that Evie really just has. He has that extra Spirit's Visage. Not Spirit's Visage. Is that what it's called? Sorry, Cowl. Something Cowl.
Spectre's Cowl.
Spectre's Cowl, that's what it is.
I got you.
There we go. But he's got a lot of that, denying a lot of the damages coming out with Nautilus, because Nautilus does a lot of magic damage within the magic resist, plus the passive on that item. It's going to be able to save a lot of damage, and basically make it impossible for Utapon to trade back.
Yeah. Utapon, though, again,
Nobody
going for these... they did see it, though. There's a blue ward right there. Happens to the best of us, though. Believe you, I've been there. Missing abilities on Scuttle Crab always feels bad.
Yeah, and then we'll always
RPG
make sure
now
to hit you
looking
with
for
the
this
missing
Infernal
things.
Drake.
But yeah, they're going to do that. They saw that Zeros and Vivid backed just moments ago, so they should be able to get this pretty easily with Paz on the other side of the map. They do manage to take the first Infernal Drake at 10 minutes.
Yeah, Rampage, really smart decision making there. They also, because Evie had shoved out of the bottom lane.
Big flash coming out from Tussle. That's not the end of it, though. Zeros has one more charge, doesn't manage to land the charm. Both the E and the flash coming out from Tussle in order to keep him out of that. One or the other probably would have been enough, but if you take both of them, you're definitely going to be out of there. And with no ultimate left on Saros, this is a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Rampage's timing there. That was really clever. They had shoved up the top lane, and Evie ran into.
Weaver's Wall coming over. There's no ultimate for Saros, but the Weaver's Wall just doesn't quite get far enough. And Evie's taking a lot of turret shots right now. He might be going down. One more turret shot? Will it be enough? Nah, the Ignite's not going to take a single more time. But that was scary.
Yeah, Ramune a little misjudging his Weaver's Wall just a little bit, not able to fully close off the distance. Had he been able to do so, that would have been almost certainly a kill because Evie could use the body slam to stun Saros into the wall.
Teleport's coming out from Utapon. Evie's already down here, though. This is a 3v3. There's a cancel from Utapon. This is a 4v3 now. He gets the triple knockup, but the tidal wave is going to come out. Dara tries to get out, misses everything. It's bubbled up, but Utori's going really big, but the exhaust's not going to do a whole lot. This is still here, and here comes Ramune around the back. Everybody's low, but there's a massive wave coming up here. Just needs a little bit more damage onto all these members. There's no teleport coming out from Utapon. They're trying to get it. There's the first one going down. There's a second one. Zeros is the last one, and that is the triple kill going over. Zeros around the backside does have his ultimate up, but against 5 members, I don't know if he's going to have the confidence to do that.
Yeah, really well played by Rampage. You can see their confidence in their decision making growing over the course of the series. Now they're the ones that are making the 4-man or 5-man dives in the bot lane. They know that they're up the game. They know that they can really put the pressure on Detonation Focus Me, and they're showing it right here.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you hold all the chips. They're able to just raise the stakes, and they just keep pushing forward and forward. And if they keep doing that, as long as it doesn't go terribly wrong, they should be able to just continue pushing for this game, and it could very easily snowball this game out of control.
Already a 3K gold lead for them, too, at 13 minutes. Along with that first Infernal Drake that's going to allow them to scale up into the late game. DFM going ahead and rotating their bottom lane into the mid lane to try and get some pressure on this mid lane turret, as well as secure some easy farm for Zeros. But I have to say, they need to find some sort of advantage here, and quickly, before the game sort of falls out of their favor.
Yeah, and this mid lane might not be the place to find it right now. Utori already has the Blade of the Rune King completed up on Zeros, as well as a very, very strong support in Dara, so this could be very difficult. Mid lane is well known for being very safe, so it shouldn't be difficult to keep Zeros safe, but I don't think he'll be able to get much of an advantage. Just trading even might be all that they want to do.
Yeah. And you can see how advantages in the professional level really start to snowball into vision advantages. If you look over at RPG's inventories, you see a grand total of 5 control wards sitting there waiting to be used on the next dragon or perhaps Rift Herald that they want to take.
Yeah, and this is it's starting to look grim. There comes another Weaver's Wall. There's no flash on Zeros. He's stuck in the corner, but the tidal wave is going to keep him safe. Just going to have to huddle in the corner. Does not want to build a snowman.
Yeah, so far Nami turning out to be a potent tool, a beacon of hope in a sea of despair for DFM. So far being used to great effect to just completely eliminate some of the aggression from RPG.
Here comes Evie around the side, going to knock a couple people away, just knocks one away. This could be a big fight, but Dara's taking a lot of turret shots. He's still taking a lot of damage. He has to use a wild growth on himself. Saros misses the ultimate over the wall, and now he finally gets around. Gets the charm down to Tussle, taking a lot of damage. Utapon's there. Dara's already dead. The death charge goes on to Evie. That's 2 picked up. right there for Zeros. He's getting another one, and that's a third kill right now. Traded one back. There goes Paz. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot, but Evie needs to find a way out, and there's so many members in the other team trying to come find him. I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but he is taking up a lot of their time.
Yeah, definitely miscommunication there on a Rampage. Evie wanted to look around the side, get a huge hammer ultimate to knock some members away while they take the turret. However, Dara ends up taking turret aggro and not able to escape. And then Detonation Focus Me just able to take advantage of the situation, pick up 3 kills, and shorten the gold lead down to 2,000.
And with this turret going down in just a moment, they'll be able to shorten it even more. Evie does manage to escape simply because he has a level 2 boots already. Nobody on Focus Me has that already, but he does lead them right to the bottom lane, so the time that he wasted isn't nearly as wasted as they might have thought, since he is able to end up picking something up for themselves anyway. But it is...
Right.
But with the back timers going down right now, and the Cocoon goes out, Utapon flashes it. This should be a pretty easy escape at this point. But the next dragon coming up in just a moment, they should be able to secure it pretty easily. Utapon's going to have to back spend the gold he just picked up, and probably just seed this Cloud Drake here.
Yeah, without teleport available, Detonation Focus Me, okay to give that one up. Obviously, they'd like to contest every inch of ground that they can. However, they just aren't quite in the position. Need to have members up in the top lane to soak up farm. Are not able to contest the dragon.
In this game, the Cloud Dragon isn't the most important objective you need to be worried about. They would really like to contest if it ever comes up. They definitely want to take an Ocean Dragon for themselves or a Mountain Dragon. Mountain Dragons are always useful with double ADC teams because it means you can take the Baron very quickly. But right now, they don't need to worry about the extra move speed so much in this game. It's not as pivotal as it might be.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Josh. Looking across the board, 17 minutes in, 3 to 5 kills. Still holding steady onto that 2K gold lead for Rampage. Couple of important item thresholds coming out. At this point in the game, between Evie and Utapon, neither player is really in a position where they can kill each other. And for the rest of the game, they'll just be continuously split pushing against one another, not really able to secure kills, by virtue of how tanky their champions are. So expect to see a lot more focus on teleports and a lot more focus on 5-on-5 team fights between both of these players.
100%. And with all the outer turrets down except for Rampage's middle turret, we're going to start seeing people move around as a group more often, making these teleport advantages even more powerful. And Evie has one right now, and that's why we see him split a little bit from his team as they start to look for vision control. RPG has a very strong ability to pick champions with the polymorph, with the cocoon coming out from Elise, and just the amount of time that Evie can soak up from an opposing member. And we're seeing it right now. They're starting to threaten towards this top lane turret. It looks like they are going to start up the Rift Herald, something we don't see a whole lot. Something I'm curious as to who they give it to. It would probably be either Elise or the Lucian. I think it would be best on the Lucian, and I'm not sure that this is something Detonation Focus Me wants to contest that hard. They are going in, though. Utapon gets taken up. The Weaver's Wall does a great job separating the team. One of the best we've seen so far. Zeros is doing a lot of damage around the side, but it's going to be... there it goes. Utapon misses the dredge line, gets the depth charge onto Tussle. Not sure that's what you want, but you do charm it up. He's so low. Evie's going to be the last one on the team, and he hammers out 2 of the enemy opponents. Dara is the only one nearly falling, but nobody dies.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of more reminiscent of the dancing team fight that we talked about, that we saw a lot of on Wednesday. Neither team able to find the engaged kills that they need to secure a kill. So both teams sort of dance around, use a lot of their abilities, don't end up killing anyone. Rampage does secure the Rift Herald for themselves, which is a great pickup for them. But all in all, an even sort of duel between both teams.
Yeah, it's like you said, we see a lot of dancing around in the Japanese league, not just between these two teams, but it's a fairly common thing, and that was very archetypal of what we tend to see between these two teams.
Yeah, we can even watch this again. Utapon, interestingly, this Weaver's Wall is incredible. Romane on point with this Weaver's Wall in the game, somehow misses this really clutch dredge line and then takes so much damage that he's unable to really join the fight. A great ultimate from Evie splits the fight once again, and DFM just not able to secure any kills.
Yeah, and Evie does pick up the Glimpse of the Void, and now he finds Utapon. And again, there we see, even with the amount of gold that these two tanky top laners have, they're not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. Simply, even the Glimpse of the Void doesn't do that much damage at this point, especially on that character. Tussle is looking for Saros. The ward is going to get him out just fine. But Evie's in a bad spot right now. He doesn't know it, but there's so many members right there. Utapon not coming up just in time, just going to be able to clear that pink ward as Evie moves around and tries to make himself an annoying little yordle.
Yeah. Rampage, though, doing a good job of not being complacent with their advantage, right? They are continuing to move around the map, are going to pressure and take this tier 1 top turret, have been continuing to buy control wards and try and choke Detonation Focus Me out of vision, especially around these important objectives like Baron and Dragon.
Yeah, and with Dragon coming up once again in just over a minute, this could be very big. I don't remember what Dragon it was. Evie's going to give us a quick glimpse into that. Willie, please? No.
Please?
It
shall forever remain a mystery.
Oh, there it goes. It is another Cloud Drake. Again, not the most pivotal thing, but giving over 2 Cloud Drakes to your opponents starts to make a lot of issues in terms of roaming around the map, because they will be so fast with their pick composition. First one, not a huge deal. Second one is 50 movement speed given over to everyone on Rampage, and that's not something you want to see.
Yeah. Does look like the game has sort of stabilized once again, though. Again, a common pattern that you see in League of Legends is like both teams will, whichever team has an early advantage, will take all 3 of the tier 1 outer turrets. And this is a very easy thing to do.
Not yet.
Looking for it.
Yeah,
thinking about it.
Thinking about it. Thinking, but it's not quite what they wanted to do. They don't see plenty of members of Detonation Focus Me, and so they weren't confident pulling the trigger. And with the Dragon coming up, if you're not confident, oftentimes it's better to just not do it.
Additionally, with how tanky Utapon is at this point, it's very difficult to secure a kill with only 2 members hacking away at him. They decide not to go
coming around. They are starting to get a little bit more vision control. But there goes the Weaver's Wall. It is going to separate the team. Utapon and Paz on the wrong side. They're going to miss the Cocoon. That might be it. They're not able to get a whole lot of damage onto him. He's very tanky. But there goes the return. The Dredge Line flashes through. Gets 3 members. The Tidal Wave takes another one. But already Detonation Focus Me has backed out quite a bit. They're not able to find a whole lot. That's actually the Poppy ultimate, but they're going to come back and try and recontest. Utapon very tanky at the front, but here's Evie on the backside. Gets a lot of damage onto Vivid, but he's charmed up, pulls Utapon back, and the rest of the team. That Wild Growth is going to keep him a little bit longer alive, but he's not going to be able to stay alive a whole much longer, but he will. They get the Cloud Drake, and that's all 5 members still alive. A dancing fight once again, and nobody dies.
Wow. What a weird, what a weird interaction between these. I have to give credits for Rampage, though. They're doing such a good job of separating out Detonation Focus Me and preventing them from having the engages that they want to have. Ramone, another fantastic Weaver's Law. Detonation Focus Me now sort of on the run. Evie's on the far side. This is a sketchy position for them to be in.
Yeah,
He's already shoving up the mid lane, too.
They had the inside track originally to try and move towards something, potentially the Baron, but they aren't confident enough to pull the trigger, and now they give Rampage the inside track as they start to put a lot of damage towards this mid lane turret. This will go down very quickly.
Yeah. Going back to that Dragon
Teleport. Utapon's coming back around. Rampage hasn't had a chance to back, but all of Detonation Focus Me he does have the direct line available. He gets it down. He's looking for a fantastic depth charge. Not able to find it yet. Evie's doing so much damage right here in the middle, and he's still not dying. They're just trying to find anyone they can. Utori comes around, but here comes the Weaver's Wall once again, separating Zeros and Vivid from the rest of the team. This could be what they need. Tussle finds a Cocoon on the pads. They're getting a lot of damage, and he bursts down the Graves. Tussle gets a Wild Growth. Is taking a lot of damage. Zeros is coming back into the fight with Vivid, but there's already 2 members dead. So many members on Rampage are already so low, and all the carries... Uh-oh, there's Zeros trying to do a lot of damage. Don't go to that. We want to see the rest of the fight. Zeros manages to get out for a little bit, but Evie doesn't manage to pick it up and ends up going down.
Wow. What again? Ramane with another incredibly clutch Talia ultimate. He is playing on fire this game. Once again, separating one or even two or three members of Detonation Focus Me away from the fight so they can't join. Picking up an early advantage through the use of that ultimate is able to eventually secure a kill here with Udapon sort of stuck out from his team. Here that is again. Look at that wall. Completely zoning Vivid and Zeros off the fight. And then so much damage goes down onto Paz, as well as Udapon.
Yeah, and here we see what happens to Zeros. Nah, not quite able to do it. He does manage to end up getting out, but at the beginning of the fight, we also see so much damage being put down onto Vivid as he takes nearly an entire culling from Yutori. He was sitting there at around 300, 400 health, not able to really get into the fight at all, simply because he'll just get one-shot by anyone with actual damage.
Yeah, and I mean this is the high point of Rampage's scaling as well. You know, Yutori has finished the tank-busting duo of both the Blade of the Rune King and the Black Cleaver. Now looking to pick up probably a Phantom Dancer to allow him to further kite. Ramane on a 2-item power spike, now working on a death cap. They just have so much burst potential out of their carries at this point. And with a lead already, that's really scary to walk into when you're coming close to these objectives.
Completely, and we're not seeing the same item spikes really coming out from Detonation Focus Me. They're not that far behind in gold, only about 4,000, but they're definitely behind a lot of other things. They're gonna try looking for a little bit here, not able to find a whole lot. But if we're talking about Seros going really massive, the faker of Japan, this isn't what we need from him. Uh-oh, there we go. Evi's going very deep, taking a good chunk of damage. I don't know, that was weird. But he's going to get that in, and they're going to start moving towards the Baron. They have plenty of pink wards available to try and deny the vision. Ramane is going to continue towards the top, and this could be where they're trying to look for it. They get the Dredge Line of Tussle, taking a little bit of damage. He has a Guardian Angel, so it's not super scary, but there goes the Charm onto Evi. That's some good chunks onto the front line. Weaver's Wall keeps Paz on the wrong side. Use the collateral damage to get onto the other side, but the culling is still going to do a lot of damage for both Paz and Utapone as they start moving towards the mid lane turret.
Yeah, fantastic use of collateral damage from Paz to jump over the wall, even after failed the quick draw. Will put them in position to take this mid turret.
Evi's looking. He gets a good charge onto Utapone, taking a lot of damage, but he's going to knock Graze out of the fight. Paz is all the way on the other side. Saros is doing a lot of damage, gets the Q across multiple members. Utori's goes down. Tussle is going to be popped into GA. Ramane has to use the cleanse to get out, and that's Saros going big right here. Tussle and Evi do manage to get away, but with both carries dead, they're going to be able to push up into the mid lane. That's potentially an inhibitor or the Baron, depending on how they choose to fight this.
Yeah, really great play by Detonation Focus Me. Fantastic bubble from Vivid. Picks up two, both Ramane and Yutori Mayasi dead. With no carries, Rampage doesn't have the damage to defend this push. This will be at least this turret, likely this turret, as well as the inhibitor for DFM.
Yeah, Evi's trying to be annoying. They do get just the turret and are going to have to back out. They're afraid of Yutori coming back up and the wrath of that Lucian. They're just going to be able to back out and hopefully reset a little bit. But here, let's take another look at it.
Yeah, so here we see they sneak around and grab the dragon. And then RPG spends all of their abilities onto Udapon. This fantastic wave into bubble combo locks up both Yutori and Tussle, brings Yutori down to the brink of death. Saros will finish off the kill onto Ramane. Tussle flashes over the wall to safety. But man, what a fantastic play by Vivid. The wave followed by the bubble just absolutely obliterating Rampage's backline.
His team did a great job following up on it as well. Just getting the CC down doesn't necessarily mean a lot. This is exactly what you'll see in something like Overwatch, right? Where Reinhardt will get, or Zarya is a great one, get the gravity orb onto 5 members, but it doesn't matter if you're going to get that and nobody else is there to support you. But they had a team there, and they were able to capitalize on it very well, picking up 2 members and knocking that GA down off of Elise, and opening up the base of Rampage for the first time in this series.
Yeah, definitely a positive highlight for Detonation Focus Me. It looks like right now they're trying to secure vision over that Baron pit. looks to be their next major goal of the game. If they can either take the Baron or win a fight around the Baron and then take Rampage's inhibitor, they stand a good chance to win this game.
Indeed, and with the Ocean Dragon now available, that's also a really big potential, objective for this team if they do try and take it. We are seeing a lot of item breakpoints coming out for Focus Me as well right now. There's 2 items full onto Nautilus. There's 2, nearly 3 onto our end. I wonder if they're a way to hit those item breakpoints before Rampage hits their next ones, or if they're going to try and force something in the meantime. The Dragon is available, the Baron is available, and they're going to have to be very careful with how they move with the amount of vision that these 2 teams dedicate in order to keep themselves safe.
Yeah. Ramune is sitting away from his team. He wants to look for another Weaver's Wall to split the team. Does look like he's going to go clear the wave of the top side. As both teams sort of hover around this mid lane, anticipating a fight.
Oops.
That's a sad spider. It's okay, though. Repel's a pretty good ability.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to get into a very interesting thing where both teams are pretty even in gold. The biggest thing separating these 2 teams is going to be those 3 dragons. And with Rampage the first to the draw, this could be very big. It's already down to half. They're going to secure that, no problem.
Yeah, dragon number 4 for Rampage. Once again, just really putting, a fair amount of priority on these dragons. Playing really well around them. Finding an opportunity to take the dragon without giving up Baron control is really key and sometimes difficult to do when you get this late into the game. But they've been doing that and doing it with style.
Evie fancies a fight here. This is not going to be a fast fight, especially with all the tank items between these 2 characters. But hey, you're welcome to try.
Yeah, both Nautilus and Poppy even more solidly in the can't kill each other camp now that they've both finished almost 3 items.
And the next step, we're going to have to be very careful as they move around. They're just, again, dancing around each other. This isn't an uncommon thing, not only in the Japanese scene, but, around the rest of the world. Evie looks to be looking for some kind of teleport right now.
Yeah, he has a couple good targets. There's a ward on the bottom half of the map that he could teleport to. However, DFM playing very cautiously, very conservatively, don't want to overextend beyond their vision. RPG now looking to clear out as many wards as possible before they bait this Baron.
Scuttle Crab goes over to Rampage. There's a lot of wards that are dying. I think if people were cheering for that, it would be a lot of cheering. There goes the Weaver's Wall. Separates Paz. He's just going to quick draw over the wall, though. Just not going to do a whole lot. Going to get a decent amount of damage down onto Utapone, but not a whole lot. Dredge line. Barely missing.
Yeah, both teams now looking to find the engage that's going to win them the fight and maybe take the game.
Tussel's separate. There's a lot of damage going on to Utapone. There's a lot of damage going to Evie. The true damage coming out from Saras is doing a lot. He's knocked out of the fight, and Utapone's getting a lot of damage put onto him. Paz goes forward, uses the collateral damage. There's not going to be enough. Paz is again taking damage from Ettore, but the bubble's going to be really big. Evie's already low. They're going to have to find a little bit more to get back in. Another dredge line should be able to find it. They're looking for it. They can't quite find it. But that is definitely a win going over to Detonation Focus. I mean, it looks like they're going to head directly to the Baron. They're going to force Evie to TP.
Yeah, I really like this play. Even if they don't take the Baron right here, forcing the teleport out of Evie in order to defend this is going to be huge. However, Ettore running down the mid lane wants to take the turret. Oh man, this is really tense.
Focus Me could, committed too late, and now Evie's going to complete the teleport. He's found out by so many members. The dredge line does not land on him, but he's going to kite. He's a very tanky Ural. Dar's on the opposite side. They could easily turn and pop him down, but now they're in a bad spot. Tussle goes in, gets a lot of damage. Zeros is almost taken down. Paz is almost taken down immediately as well. Tussle's going to have to find his way out. He's taking a lot of damage, just not quite ending it. Utapone taken once again by the steadfast presence from Poppy, and they're so low. Once again, here comes Saros. Ettore is going in. He's trying to get the damage. Evie's onto Saros. This is such a chaotic fight. Ettore finally picks up the 1. There's a 2. That's a double kill for Ettore. There's a triple kill for Ettore. Just kidding, that goes over to Tussle, but there's a teleport getting out from Utapone. You can call him Soaz. But that is going to be the Baron and a massive team fight finally going over Rampage's way, and that could be the key that they need to finally open up this game and end the series 3-0.
Yeah, Rampage really playing that smartly on a macro level. They run down mid lane to take down the quick turret, force Detonation Focus Me to sort of run towards the Baron, and then they get stuck in this choke in the river where they can't fight very effectively. Their carries are left unprotected. Zerost and Saris go really, really low before Rampage is even like touched, and that will secure them the Baron as well as the bottom or the top tier 2 turret, and they're still going. They still want blood.
Yeah, they're still here. I don't know how much more they'll be able to get, but Paz is looking. If he can stop the backs a little bit, it might be an opportunity for Detonation to find something with the empowered recall here from Rampage. There's not a whole lot of chance of that. Detonation needs to clear out a little bit of vision, and with a minute 30 still on the Elder Dragon, let's take a look at this one more time.
Yeah, so we see here this teleport gets completed by Evie, and he's sort of stuck out all by himself, but he's just so tanky. DFM gets sort of channeled into this choke, a great stun, gets Paz down really low, and now Paz and Zeros are sort of stuck, or Paz and Zeros are stuck on the edge. They can't really continue to engage, and they're stuck over here. Yutori is just free reign to just carry on and focus down targets, picks up Zeros as well as Saris, and they end the fight 3-1.
Here he goes again. Weaver's Wall doesn't separate anybody, but Utapon is in a potentially bad spot. Vivid gets popped in and bursted. Evie and Tusser are still looking for Paz as he's around the side. They do get the cocoon, and he's got no flash, nowhere to go, and that is going to be 2 picks for Rampage. They have the Baron buff. They have the top lane inhibitor already dead, and they have minion waves pushing. This is going to be them pushing potentially for the game.
Yeah, a 10,000 gold lead, 6-12. It's going to be really tough for Detonation Focus Me to survive this push. Will they be able to do it? Let's see here. Zerost and Saris are still alive.
They have to go direct for the Nexus turrets. Who needs the other inhibitor? They're doing a lot of damage to Utapon. Look at how much damage he's taking. The culling onto his back is not going to let him get away. Evie not able to find anything further. Wild Growth isn't doing a whole lot. Saros is looking for something. Come on, Faker of the Easter. Nah, I don't even know what I was saying there. But here comes Saros. He's taking a lot of damage. He's getting caught up by Evie, stunned against the wall. That is going to be Yutori taking that one more time. Zeros and Vivid are trying to do what they can to keep their team in the game, but it's already the Nexus turret is being focused down by Yutori, and that is going to be a 3-0 Rampage over Detonation.
Wow, Rampage Gaming stepping it up, winning your champions of the LJL this season. 3-0 will advance to the Mid Season Invitational, and look at those guys. They are ecstatic. What a feat. Defeating their long-standing rivals, Detonation Focus Me, 3-0. That has to feel good.
In such a devastating fashion, too. None of those games were particularly close outside of the early game. They had a good lead in 2 of them, and in that last one, a single fight can tear the game wide open. But that's what happens when you're dancing around each other for such long periods of time. You're just sitting there waiting for each other, and look at how devastated Zerost is right there.
Yeah, I mean, still though, second place in a budding league is definitely nothing to